Alright, so I'm finally getting a chance to review these Apex Racing Development button pods on my Yamaha R1. Apex Racing Development, big shout out to them, sponsored me, and really happy to be representing this product. It's a really nice product and highly recommend it. I'll tell you all about it, show you my setup here, and describe kind of in detail what they're all about. So one of the things is that I liked about these over the Carraros and the other brands is the backs are really sealed nicely, and you don't see the back of the switches very well. The buttons are plastic, but it's a really hard, nice plastic, and it's the feel is just really nice on these. They only use the highest quality buttons, and you can tell. I mean, these are not cheap at all. These are industrial. These are really sweet. So let me. I'm going to go over the left side and the right side, kind of break it down, tell you about what's special in the R1 kit here. First thing is these are made for the bike, so they're plug and play. As soon as you bolt them on, you plug them right into the wiring harness down here on the side where the normal controls plug in, and you're good to go. The left side here is special for this R1 because it's a 5-button setup, and you've got a pit lane speed limiter. And basically through FlashTune you can program this to limit your miles per hour with the rev limiter. So you can set it to whatever the pit lane speed limit is. If it's 55 miles an hour, you come in for a pit stop, you hit this button, and the bike will just go vroom 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 vroom, vroom like that, and just like stay at the speed that you set. Now that won't just work by default. This you actually wire into the kickstand switch, which obviously for racing you would remove the kickstand anyways. There is another accessory plug you can wire it into, I believe, but by default it's supposed to go into the kickstand switch. I've already got it wired up, but it's not activated yet because that requires a special race license from FlashTune in addition to the flashing license. There's 2 licenses that'll activate that. One is the race kit, and there's a team race package that I think is about $1,000. I'm probably going to end up going with that at some point because it allows you to change your modes on the fly while you're riding. So you can change your traction control while you're out on the track, for example. You can do that with the team package. The other button down here at the bottom is what would be your high beam flashlight. If you don't have the GPS CCU unit for being your recording your lap times and everything, you could use this as to start your lap times manually, and that would replace the high beam switch. That's really the only use for it, I think. And I've got the CCU on my bike inside the tail. You can't see it; it's actually mounted up inside the tail. But and big thanks to Hustle Hard. They also sell these kits too. So if you want to get one of these, you can get it from Mark Harper at Hustle Hard. But anyways, that's the light. Here's your mode switch, and then up and down. When I go out onto the grid and I've got it in first gear, hold this switch and that activates your launch control. So really nice too. I mean, those stock switches just really aren't that good. You might think to yourself, well, why would I buy these? The stock's probably good enough. It's not going to give me any benefit, and if I ride on the street, I'm not going to have my turn signals. That's true. This is a track only thing, number one. But I've met a couple of racers who have had problems with reliability of the stock controls. Not so much the left side, but definitely the right side. And let's move over there and talk about the right side a little bit. Sort of go over what's going on there. So what's unique about the right side, the first thing to notice is that you are losing that control wheel that you have with the stock button pods. And that control wheel actually has a circuit board with it. So there's a reason why that stock unit is so darn enormous, right? And it's really pretty fascinating how they did this. These are all made out of billet, really well. I mean, it's all machined, right? And then there's no circuit board. This, the up and down is here. Here's your mode, and that gets rid of the circuit board. So where does the circuit board go? Well, they put the circuit board on the wire down, out of harm's way, and it's all sealed up in heat shrink. which is really sweet, and it's very miniaturized. There's not much to it. There's just a tiny little square that you'll see on the wire when you're installing it. Again, it's all plug and play, so no headaches there or anything. You just route it like you normally would, zip tie it off, and you're done. But since I've got the ignition delete from Woodcraft, which again is dead simple, you plug it in, and taking the ignition out, it's a little bit of a pain. You have to take the triple clamp off, and you have to drill out the two pressed bolts that are they're just riveted in, you know, to hold in the ignition. You have to drill those out. I did that on a drill press, came right out, and then there's a little bracket behind it, and I use that as like a ladybird holder here for my reservoir. So you get this, like, it's kind of cool. There's a little steel bracket. It's perfect for a ladybird. It comes out of the ignition. But anyways, get rid of the ignition, and then to turn the bike on, you hit the red button, and the bike turns on. That's it. You don't need a key or anything. Because I've got the flash tune kit here, I've modified the names of my maps. You can see it says race 2, and I can turn it back off. Your start button's down here. The black button might be kind of hard to see here. That's your start button. So just hit the button here. The bike turns on. Hit that, start. Here's your other mode switch, and up and down. Right. So super easy. Again, these things. The feel is so nice. I mean, it's firm. You're not going to just bump it accidentally. It's really, really nice. And one of the cool things that happened to me with my setup is I was running the Evol Technologies. I'm using their handlebars, and I had the Evol Technologies brake guard. You can see I took it off, and I ended up going with the Dion device. The reason for that is, for me, I was struggling with right turns, being able to hold it like a screwdriver and hang off, and having the guard in the way was really like jamming up my wrist. So now I can really hang off like this. And so I ended up taking that off, and oh my gosh, my right turns are so much nicer and better now. And I really was, it's kind of taking a chance, because I had no idea whether or not this thing would fit around the button pod, and I couldn't be happier. I mean, look at how tight this is right in the gap here. Here's the Dion device. Here's the button pod. Got my Brembo RCS here. I'm going to be replacing that with, not happy with the Brembo. It started leaking on me. Going to get rid of it and go with Gale Speed. But in any case, man, that's so nice. It's not in the way at all. Doesn't get in the way of any of my configuration up here at all. Really, really pleased with that DM device. Not in the way of my lever or anything. So yeah, it makes for a really nice tight package in there. And honestly, I just couldn't be more pleased with that. It's just great. And I can hang off now. I can really get low on my right hand turns and not have any wrist issues with, how I hang off or anything. So anyways, the button pods are part of my whole package here. I mean, it's part of my setup, and it's not just for looks for me. It's really for reliability. I mean, I literally I have a friend who, you probably wouldn't want me to mention his name, but I have a friend who, he went for the Carraros, and they're okay, right? But when you look at mine from Apex and you compare them to those, not even close. These are so much nicer. I mean, the Carraros aren't bad. I'm not trying to really put them down, but between the two, these are the ones you guys want. I'm telling you, they're just totally sweet, and they're not big and clunky. I mean, they're really like thin, and it's just ridiculous how nice they are. So yeah, you can get those from Hustle Hard Racing. Also, I got the Moto Million adapter here, another good company. Use Moto Million for that, and really cleaned up my whole setup here. I'll probably end up getting the Evol triples pretty soon to tune my rake and trail up front a little bit and do some racer stuff with that, with my setup. Talking to Lenny Albin at K-Tech, I'd give him a shout out too. Really helped me out with my setup, front and back. Got the DDS Pro shock on the back, right? And could be happier with K-Tech and Lenny's help getting me set up. I dropped 3 seconds off my personal best, mostly with the suspension and some riding changes and strategies I was doing. But yeah, this review was really all about the button pods, and the button pods are great. Highly recommend them. These are the ones to get. Couldn't be happier. They feel amazing. They work well. It's plug and play, pretty much hassle free. So yeah, get them. See you guys.